If you are looking for a powerful, no-compromise phone that is not too big, Apple's iPhone 15 and Samsung's Galaxy S23 are clearly the first two names that come to mind. Which one should you go for? Obviously, one is an iPhone and the other an Android phone, so that's the biggest difference, but feature-wise, they are also very distinct. The iPhone 15 has finally makes the switch to a USB-C port, the same one that Android phones use, so both the Galaxy and iPhone are now on the same port. The Galaxy S23, on the other hand, has passed the test of time. It is small, lightweight, well-built, and it also features a powerful triple-camera system. So they are indeed both powerful, but which one should you actually go for? Starting with the looks, both are 6.1-inch phones and both have roughly the same physical footprint. Both phones come with an IP68 water and dust protection rating, just as you'd expect on a 2023 flagship. In terms of ports, both use the same USB-C port. We love having a Type-C on an iPhone and not have to deal with the lightning cables. It just makes life easier as all other electronics use this port. The Galaxy and the iPhone come with a 6.1-inch screen size and both use Samsung-made OLED panels, so they are pretty darn similar. And yes, both screens are flat. The iPhone is just slightly sharper with its 1179p resolution compared to the 1080p on the Galaxy, but this difference is so tiny you probably won't even notice. Both screens also have dynamic 120Hz refresh rate, so scrolling and swiping looks buttery smooth, but the iPhone is a bit more advanced as it goes all the way down to just 1 Hz for static content, while the Galaxy S23 can only go as low as 48 Hz, which is not as power efficient. Subtle difference again, but worth noting. One thing the iPhone improves is the bezel size around the screen, which is now much thinner for a more modern look. In terms of biometrics, the iPhone goes with the Face ID system, while the Galaxy relies mostly on the ultrasonic in-screen fingerprint reader. You do have a face recognition system on the Galaxy, but it is not as secure as the 3D based on the iPhone. When comparing flagship phones like this, we're talking about devices with some of the fastest internals on the market. Apple is using the A16 Bionic in the iPhone 15. This cutting-edge process allows packing a lot more transistors and performance in the same die size, but the main benefit might actually be the big gains in power efficiency. Samsung's Galaxy S23, on the other hand, is powered by one of the best Qualcomm chip in years, a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. It's manufactured using TSMC's Photon process, and it is also an excellent chip, but it is a bit slower than the A16 Pro. Both phones come with 8 gigs of RAM, so no difference there. Samsung has also increased the software support on its devices, and you now get 4 years of major updates guarantee, but Apple goes a step further with at least 5 years of major updates, and don't forget that iOS updates arrive much faster than Android updates on Samsung phones, which can take up to half a year after the release. You have a 48 megapixels main camera on the iPhone and a 50 megapixels main shooter on the Galaxy. Then you have 12 megapixels ultra-wide camera on both. Both phones can also use the ultra-wide camera to take macro shots. The iPhone, however, gets a number of very important tweaks and tricks. And of course, image quality between the two will still be different. Samsung is known for its vibrant, larger-than-life color science, which some like and others find excessive, while the iPhone has less extreme colors, but has its own issue with extreme over-sharpening to fix. Zoom quality has traditionally been one area where Samsung has done a better job than Apple, so it's interesting to compare that directly, and we will be doing so over the coming weeks. For video quality, the Galaxy has really stepped it up in one area, video stabilization, which is now very good on the Galaxy S23. The iPhone, however, is still the better camera for video overall, with clearer footage and more resolved detail, and now it also addresses the dreadful lens flare on previous models with a new lens coating. One special iPhone feature that is not available on the Galaxy is spatial video, where both the ultra-wide and main cameras record simultaneously, giving you video footage with depth information. You can then play this on Apple's upcoming Vision Pro headset to experience that depth and immersion. Both phones also support cinematic mode or portrait video, which allows you to blur the background, an effect you typically get with a proper standalone camera. But again, the iPhone is better at actually doing that effect. Apple explicitly says that battery life on the iPhone 15 is exactly the same as on the previous 14 Pro generation, so that means that the iPhone lasts longer than the Galaxy. What we also know is that Apple's iOS platform is just better at power efficiency, and practice has shown that the iPhone typically has longer real-world battery life than the Galaxy. On the charging front, we are so glad to have the same USB-C port on both these phones that is just so convenient. No charger in the box, as we already mentioned, but you probably have one laying around already. As for charging speeds, both are actually quite slow for modern standards. You have 25 watts charging on the Galaxy and 23 watts charging on the iPhone 15. The Galaxy takes a bit more than an hour for a full charge, while the iPhone takes more than 1 hour and a half. Both phones support wireless charging as well, with the iPhone here a bit faster and more convenient thanks to 15 watts MagSafe. The new iPhone 15 models offer a few key features that Samsung doesn't have: emergency SOS and roadside assistance via satellite, as well as crash detection. With the Galaxy S23 Ultra, on the other hand, can also be connected to accessories to mimic a traditional computer experience with window applications using DeX. Apple devices do not offer any such mode. Although it's not necessarily a feature specific to the S23 lineup, Android phones play nice with Windows, while Apple phones work best with macOS. If you like the idea of sending text messages from your PC or Mac, you might want to stick with the phone that fits in that ecosystem. Similarly, accessories might play a role in your decision. If you already have an Apple Watch and AirPods, the iPhone makes more sense. But if you own a pair of Galaxy Buds 2 Pro and Galaxy Watch 6, the S23 is the way to go. Also, consider the apps you use, particularly the ones you paid for. If you've invested heavily in one ecosystem, it may be difficult to get up and running on the other side of the Android or iOS border. Apple iPhones and Samsung Galaxies typically are some of the most expensive phones in the market. Each family of devices has a wide range of pricing, and the old adage always applies: you get what you pay for. The iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Plus are sharing the same colors, just like they do each year. We have black, green, yellow, pink, and blue as available colors for the base iPhone 15 models. On the other hand, this year, the three phones of the Galaxy S23 Trio come in the same colors, the Ultra 2, unlike previous years when the Ultra sported different colors. The S23 colors this year are Phantom Black, a classic; green, lavender, and cream, a light shade that looks like a very light beige. Here's the breakdown. When it comes to price, both the iPhone 15 and its S23 lines start at $799. At this point in its life cycle, however, the Galaxy S23 can be found for less if you look around online. Both entry-level phones come with 128 gigs of internal storage. At the end of the day, these are two of your best options if you are looking for a compact flagship phone. The iPhone 15 has a number of improvements, but it remains the iOS ecosystem that lures people in with its familiarity, support for Apple Watch, AirPods, AirDrop, and so on. In terms of pure hardware improvements, the iPhone 15 certainly clears the bar with its industry-leading chip, improved cameras, and finally, a USB-C port. The Galaxy S23 would be a better fit for someone looking to save some money, but also someone who appreciated Android's openness and capabilities like split-screen multitasking and so on. So, what is your reason to pick one over the other? Share your thoughts below in the comment section, and for more Apple updates, you can check out our channel. See you in the next one.